some of you are still finishing it up. This workshop is titled How to Make Do with a Budget. And that was my initial idea. I'm not a budget person. I was an accounting teacher when I taught high school years ago, and I taught how to make budgets, and I hate making budgets because I hate living by a budget. As far as putting, X dollar amount in this account and X dollar amount dollars in this account. I've heard many multiple ways of doing it. One person suggested putting, if you want $100 to spend on entertainment this month, put $100 in an envelope. Keep track of it that way. When you run out of your $100 in your envelope, you're done. I never liked that. So I kind of approached this from a little bit different angle, not so much how to develop a budget and live with that budget, but where does your money go and how to maybe save some money along the way. So the title of it's a little different than the way I'm going to present it, but we'll go with it. If you take this "Where does your money go?" quiz, and if you take all the A's that you answered and give yourself 3 points for them, the B's, give yourself 2 points for each of those, and the C's, give yourself 1 point. If you add them up, you should have somewhere between 10 and 30 points. Everybody done that? Give yourself a few seconds to do that. Anybody at 30? Anybody at 10? Okay, so hopefully someplace in between. Who's got 25 or higher? That's good. I've not taken this, but I, to be honest with you, I might be close to that. Probably not. But how about 20 or higher? Anybody? And Andrew's an accounting major too. Andrew, do you like living with budgets? No. No. I think accounting people don't. Do you use budgets?
Oh yeah, but I don't like it.
So what was your score?
23.
23?
Yes.
How about 15 to 20? Anybody in that range? And if you read the descriptions down there, it says, I hate putting my glasses on camera, but 25 to 30, none of you, your money flutters through your fingers and blows away in the wind. Time to buckle down and learn how to live cheap. 18 to 24, anybody over 18? Oh, Andrew was. DeAndre. You know some of the tactics for living a financially sensible lifestyle, but too much of your cash still slips through the cracks. Time for a tactics refresher. I can guarantee you I'm in that range probably if I were to take this. 10 to 17, you're a thrift machine who knows how to save money and knows the usefulness of discovering new ways to save a penny. So you're between 10 and 17, you can leave now. No, just joking. Again, I just wanted to kind of put together a little bit of a fun presentation, some things to look at, some things to consider for saving money and maybe not spending easily. Again, I don't always follow these. I will be the first to tell you. These are 50 tips that were put together by this guy, Leo. He was also the guy who put together my last presentation. It's from a website called zenhabits.com. You'll see that at the end. Some of these things will make you mad. You'll say there's no way, maybe not mad, but you'll say there's no way that I can do that. Okay? A couple of them did that to me. There's no way I can do that. I'd love to maybe do that, but there's no way I can. The very first one is that way for me. I'll tell you that before we get there. Some of them will say, okay, that's a good idea, maybe we can do that. So we're going to look at a lot of different things. We also have 3 books that we're going to give to 3 people. If you're interested in one of the books, Dory's going to write your names down for a drawing at the end. All 3 of them have very good tips about how to save money. My wife is big into saving money. One of the things that she does is she makes her own laundry soap. And it takes a little bit of time. It takes her about an hour, probably about once a month to make it. She uses the Duggar family recipe. If you've heard of the 19 Kids in County TV show, she uses their recipe, and it works just as good as the soap you buy at the laundry store. She adds a little lavender smell to it to give it a little bit of a smell, and it works very well. And we haven't bought laundry soap in a long, long time, and she makes it literally for pennies on the gallon or pennies on the load or whatever, so compared to what you do otherwise. So a lot of practical tips in those books. That's just one that I know that we do. She's talked about making her own dishwashing soap. She hasn't done that yet. So there's some things you can do. So to get to this 50 tips for frugal living, go with one car. I can't do this one. Okay? If you're family of, husband and wife. Many families have 2 or more cars. Besides your house, your car is probably your most expensive item. If you do with one, you should. And again, when it says my wife, that's Leo's wife. Because I just copied everything straight from him. My wife and I both work, and we have 6 kids. I only have 4, so that's how you know that. And we have learned how to manage with 1 car. I don't know how they do it. More power to them. If you can do that, if you're in a relationship, married or whatever, there's no way I could though. My wife and I are going in different directions. We live at Racine. I come here, she goes to Granby to work. There's no way we could do it. So it's a great tip. It just doesn't work again for everybody. So I also want to preface this by please interject. Don't let me sit up here and just talk. If you think of something that works, please interject. Go with a smaller house. This one does work for us. We have a family of 4 and we have a very smaller practical house. Just because you can afford a larger house doesn't mean you should live in one. Live in as small a house as you can and still be comfortable. I don't mean live in a 1-room apartment with a family of 4. You can save thousands of dollars a year with a smaller house. Many times you get rid of a lot of clutter, you don't need a large house. Amen to that. I know we've got a lot of clutter. We are a nation of clutter, probably. It amazes me. I love going to auctions and the sales and the stuff that is sold at these auctions and sales that people have accumulated over the years. And now somebody else is buying it and becoming their clutter. So it's amazing. So small is just as good as big. But is that our lifestyle in America? No. Our mentality is bigger the better. So if you want to save money, this is a good thing to do. Go with a smaller car. Okay? You can save thousands by going with a smaller car. Obviously, a car versus an SUV is a big savings. Be comfortable. Don't buy a little Ford Escort and try to put you and your wife and 4 kids like I would have to do. You've got to be practical as well. But we have 2 minivans. I've talked about. I think it'd be cool. As a matter of fact, there's a nice SUV for sale down the road from us. I'd love to go buy it. It's pretty sharp. 4-wheel drive. Not very practical, especially with as much driving as we do. So think about those things. Rent rather than own. How many of you agree with this? Trenton does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with that about $600 a month.
Saving money wise, probably a good plan if you read his thing. This will probably spark a large debate, as it always does. The thing is, just don't assume that buying is a better investment. If you calculate the interest you pay on a mortgage, the cost of insurance and maintenance, buying is often much more costly than renting. And I think that's true. It is more costly. And if you rent, save money, and then invest the difference, you can actually end up well ahead in the long run. Now, it's not a given, so do a comparison factoring in all the expenses. I'm going to send all this presentation to all of you after the meeting. Where the blue things come up, you can click onto a link. This one compares, I'll show you what this one does. It compares, need to get off screen for a minute. And I hate this slow computer, we might not do this very much, but it's going to a getrich.slowly.org website, and you can compare the costs of different things. Renting is probably cheaper. Do I agree that you should rent? Now, I will be honest with you, I think another thing I read in one of these books says if you live at a place for less than 5 years, you should definitely rent. And I have. Almost my entire married life, we've lived in less than 5 years and then we moved. So renting probably would have been a better thing. We sold our house in West Plains a year and a half ago. It took us 2.5 years to sell it. My check, after all the expenses were paid off, was $23.62. So maybe renting would have been a good plan. I think this is going to be too slow. I apologize. But you can go into each of these when you get this email and look at these things. It'll give you, some of them will give you more tips about things along the same line. So again, buying, you're investing, you could possibly, I've got a friend, he was telling me the other night, he moved from California to here about 10 years ago. What was the market in California 10 years ago? It was out of this world outstanding. He sold a house in California and made $400,000 profit. the sale of that house. He came here, bought 150 acres, built his house, his parents' house, his sister's house, and his wife's sister's house with that money he made on that sale of one house in California. And owns 150 acres here just south of,
So just rent to own.
rent to own. Good plan, good plan.
You're still
So,
renting, can
right.
one.
Good idea.
So how do a rent to own like work?
You just have to work it out with the person who owns the house that you're gonna rent it, and as you're making payments, it's going towards the purchase price that they're asking. Not a lot of people do it, but
In your balloon payment after a certain amount of time.
probably a balloon payment, meaning
Depends
you
on-
might pay $500 a month for 5 years, and then at the end of that 5 years, you'll pay off the difference, $40,000 or whatever the difference ends up being, their asking price and what you've paid over time. So usually with rent to own, you might have the maintenance costs though. They might make you be responsible for the maintenance. You know, a lot of factors play into it, but again, just in a month-to-month financial situation, renting is probably better than owning, especially again if you plan on moving quickly. I think that was the one thing I picked up out of one of the books, and probably we did rent one time, and then what happened there though was our landlords filed bankruptcy, foreclosed on the house, and we got evicted. Wasn't any part of our fault, it was all their fault.
That's my argument against it, is the
Yeah.
instability of renting. You're kind of at the mercy of somebody
You are.
else.
Yeah.
You are at the mercy. So, again, these are just examples. These are just things that said, if you want to save a little money, this is one way. Does it work for all of us? No. And that's, you know, that's the debate about it.
If you buy a cheaper house, you can pay it off fairly quickly, and then you don't have any payment.
Right. Always, and if you always can pay extra on your monthly payment, reduce that interest. The faster. Right,
The faster you get to own a house, the better.
right, exactly.
Going over many years.
Right. We try to pay a little bit extra each month to cut down on that interest that's going to accumulate as you go along. So look for use first. If you need something, I really need it, not just want it. See if someone you know has one that they don't use or need anymore. Has anybody ever heard of freecycle.org? I've not had an opportunity to check that out yet. Heard of Craigslist, and I look at it quite frequently. And you know my favorite thing on Craigslist? Free items. I don't ever, very rarely do I find anything that I really want under free items because it's usually junk, but twice I found free wood to go cut. So I go cut it, and bring it back to my house, and use it for my fireplace. Is there? All right. So, again, you can find a lot of deals this way. Again, if you really need it, not necessarily want it. So that's a big thing we're going to talk about more. Eat out less. I was hoping, one of our students was in my office the other day, and we were talking about my presentation, and he said, and we were talking about this one specifically, this slide specifically, he said he's got a program that he put on his iPhone, and he recorded every expense that he did on his iPhone in this program, budgeting program, and he found out he spent close to $500 on himself in 1 month, eating out.
Start budget one.
And he needs some,
That's
he needs some,
yeah.
yeah, budget one, okay, thank you.
That's
That's why, that's a lot of, because he was eating out every time.
Every
He's a
day.
single person, you know, he doesn't live in the dorm, so he doesn't get that,
And he doesn't, and does he know how to cook?
probably not. So, good point, do you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Trent knows how to cook. But hey, you know, I take my family of 6, including me, out to eat. I'm looking at $50 easily, so we don't eat out very often.
That's why you look at the dollar menu at
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Dollar menu doesn't fill my kids up, it still comes close to $50.
We all 4 of us eat for less than $10 at McDonald's.
Wow, I don't know how you do it, because I can't eat for less than $10 at
So we go
McDonald's.
twice a month.
I can't eat for less than $10 at McDonald's by myself.
Right.
So looking at this, one of the biggest expenses in our daily lives is eating out. The average person spends well over $2,000 a year eating out. That's the average person. That means there's some people spending more and some people spending less. Obviously, it's fast food is also not the most healthy. It's much cheaper to cook your food on your own, like Trenton said. Our family creates a weekly menu, then we buy groceries and cook dinner and lunch each evening. Lately, I've been prepping it in the morning, so it's a snap when we get home. My wife usually does that on Sunday mornings, gets up, preps lunch for us, so when we get home from church, lunch is ready. So, big expense here. Okay, you gotta watch that. And I know I spend probably way too much eating out, because when I go umpire something, I'll always stop and get me something on the way home. And it's like, oh, there went my umpiring money off, not quite, but. Okay, eat out frugally. Okay, kind of the same thing. If you do eat out, check out these money-saving tips. Eat at the dollar menu. Take the kids on Tuesday night to Mazzio's where they can eat free. I've noticed they've lowered the ages. My kids have gotten older. It used to be 12, now it's 10. And my kids, my middle two kind of jumped that period for some reason. Again, when you get this in an email, if you want to, check out these other money-saving tips. I wish this computer was faster because this is one I wanted to look at, but it's got a lot of different ones. One that we do that will come up later, we do it every time we go out as a family, is drink water. Okay? An average drink in a restaurant will cost you $1.50 at least, minimum. Water, they don't charge you nothing. So 6 people at $1.50, $4, whatever, that's quite a bit. So check out the other tips. Brown bag it to work. This is from his website. Instead of eating out for lunch, bring your lunch. So, and this is zenhabits.net, simple way to save $3,000 a year. If a person were to go out and eat every day for lunch, you'd spend close to $3,000 a year just eating lunch. So, something to think about again. He talks about, I think maybe in another slide, that he cooks a lot of food for his home cooked meal and then takes part of it to lunch next day. And we try to do that as well with our kids' lunch especially. So my kids have yet to buy a school lunch. School lunches are even expensive sometimes. Adopt a minimalist wardrobe. This tip won't be for everyone, but I tried a minimalist wardrobe. I generally wear jeans or casual pants, a t-shirt or a poly-type shirt, and sandals or shoes. I don't ever wear sandals, so that's, that's not me again. Yeah. Plain, solid colors are my favorite. Everything goes with everything else. I don't have too many clothes. This saves me the stress of picking out an outfit, and I don't need as many clothes. I will tell you a good place to go. Anybody ever heard of Front Page? Neosho, I know has one. Carthage, do they have one? Joplin has one out on Main Street. I bought these Dockers right here. They are Dockers from JCPenney's, but I bought them at Front Page for $5. Every time I drive by one of those places, I stop and just look. I've got about 3 pair of khaki pants because if I see them and they're my size, I buy them for $5. But I wear the same pair all the time. So I wear them out, and then I got the next one ready to go. Or if I dirty them up and had a chance to do laundry, I'm ready to go with the second one. So this shirt was given to me free because I worked at a basketball camp last year. The basketball coaches that worked there, I got this shirt free. So again, I've got more clothes. I don't necessarily have a minimalist wardrobe, but if you notice, and I don't know if Dory and the girls have noticed, but I wear blue pants, khaki pants, and black pants. That's it.
So does that mean you have like less clothes, or does
Have
that
less
mean
clothes.
like buy clothes for less?
Probably both.
Well, let's not like that.
Probably both, but have less clothes where you don't have to worry about it. So, again, please interject ideas, concepts. Stop online impulse buying. Does anybody do this online?
Where's my weakness?
Here's your weakness.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it.
All those cheap deals online. Oh, that's a good deal. I'm gonna get it. I don't need it.
You don't need it.
10
Especially
daily deal.
the key word, and I used to teach this, was needs versus wants.
Yeah.
If it is a need, maybe it's not a bad thing if you find it cheaper online. It's the wants. Like my wife yesterday called me up, she said, I hope she didn't watch this video. She said, I've got a book I want to buy on eBay. She doesn't know how to close it out and pay for it. That's what I do. And I said, first of all, did you check Amazon? No, I didn't check Amazon. Found the same book on Amazon, $5 cheaper than she found on eBay. Free shipping. But I said, do you really need this book? Yes. know better than that answer, but it's how to take seeds and make them into seeds. How to take seeds from an item and make it into a seed to grow. And I'm like, you really need that book. She thinks she does, so we went with it. But again, this was a problem for me before I canceled my credit card. I used to buy online a couple times a week. Now I buy maybe once every couple of months using PayPal or someone else's credit card. I'm not saying you have to go to the extreme, but realize that online buying can be way too easy. And it is. Click that button. I bought a few things online that I really didn't need.
I have an Arba spending card,
Okay?
and I put money on that, and if I don't have money, then I can't buy it, so that stops a lot of buying.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, dang it, I don't have any. And a lot of the deals I see are for one day only, so I miss it, and so.
Well,
that's
then
how
you'll like one of these other tips in a minute, the one day only thing. So, again, impulse buying is very dangerous. I worked in the grocery store for 5 years. What do you think they put at, what did they put at the registers?
It'll be impulse aisle.
It's called the impulse aisle, because they put candy and they put, and our store one time, we were receiving a lot of complaints from mamas that were mad that their children were screaming and yelling, wanting a Snickers bar or M&Ms, whatever. So they were begging us to have a non-candy aisle. A couple of parents were, so we did. What did we put there? We put crayons, coloring books, a little more expensive items, but still impulse buying and get those kids to scream and yell. So again, avoid the impulse buying. Getting rid of the credit card is a good example too. Don't shop. Now some people would say shopping is a good idea because you're comparing prices. I'm a, go into the store, I know exactly what I'm going in there for, and I go in there to buy it. What he's pointing out here is that shopping, you can end up spending more because you're just out looking at, oh, the impulse buying thing in the mall or something. Oh, those shoes look cool. And, so don't just go out to the mall and start walking around. And if you go in there just to power walk and use their mileage markers and stuff, that's probably fine. But if you're there kind of looking and thinking about buying, shopping can get you because you get into that.
Don't get distracted.
That's right, don't get distracted. So, I know my mother is a lot like I am. She's a buyer. She goes and she knows what she wants to buy. Her sister was a shopper. And my goodness, when she passed away, hundreds and hundreds of items that she probably never even used that much after shopping. So be careful with shopping. It was kind of an addiction with her. Use a 30-day list. To curb impulse buys, create a 30-day list. When you want to buy something other than a true necessity, like medicine or food, for example, put it on a list with the date you added, and make it a rule that you can't buy anything for at least 30 days after you put it on the list. And stick to it. You'll find out that you buy less with this system because, ooh, I really, really want that. Put it on the list, and 30 days later, maybe you don't anymore. So, big thing there. So, how many of you do this? You're one of these that scored the 10 to 17 range. So, and I've done this a couple times, but more times than not, I'm bad about impulse buying. That's probably my weakness too. Cut out cable. I think in our How to Live presentation, yeah, it is. I told you some of you wouldn't like some of these. In our How to Live presentation, Chu, who's in our program, she took this to heart. She cut out cable. And then she says, how come you have it, Mr. Jackson? I said, because I got to have my Cardinals baseball. And my wife's got to have her Fox News. And
I've never subscribed to cable. I used to live right next door to my parents, and I ran a line over from their house one time, dug a trench and everything, and ran a
So
line
you
over.
stole cable.
Yeah, from my parents. And
delete that off.
yeah, and I never used it, and I said, you can have your box
Oh, so
back.
you stole it but didn't use it.
I didn't use it, so I was like, you
What
can
was
have
the
your
point?
box back.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned off the Dish Network.
So I never subscribed.
Tired.
Mine, I live in the Seneca area, so we have phone, internet, and cable, or whatever. It's all in one package. And the problem is I'd like to just get their internet service or their cable service, but I can't do it without having their phone. So I have a home phone that I don't necessarily use that much because we are pretty, not exclusive on our cell phones, but
What company is it? Cause I
Send it
got,
to your telephone.
AT&T, I get just internet.
Yeah, no, this one is, they package everything around the phone bill, so it's kind of a bad thing, so. $60 a month for phone or cable, so $700 a year. I know a couple of you immediately shook your heads, no way. I'm kind of in that same boat, but again, if we're looking at just saving money, not a bad idea.
I went to Netflix, but I have a problem with, I like watching the news.
Yeah, well, my wife couldn't, yeah, she's gotta watch Fox News, so. This was one of the things in How to Live, use the library instead of buying books, check them out. They also have DVDs you can watch if you get rid of the cable. So if you go to the library and rent their DVDs, who needs cable? But now, I'm in a quandary because my DVD player went out on us, so I don't know what to do. Another good way to save money that we're doing right now, we're saving money on water because my ice maker broke down. We haven't had ice in our house for about a month and a half. So I'm saving a lot of money, but I've got to spend some money to get it fixed because when it gets hot, I'm not going to want warmer water. So, find free entertainment. Again, there's some great ideas down here. Find cheap ways to have fun. Entertainment also often ends up costing a lot of money. If you go to the movies, how much does it cost to go to the movies? $9 a ticket. Crazy. Buy concessions. We never buy concessions when we do go to the movies. We take stuff in my wife's purse. Can't take drinks in, so we don't get much on the drink side. But if you go out for a night, go to a bar, etc. The average person spends $1,800 a year on entertainment. That does not include eating out. That just includes the drinks and the whatever. Along the lines of this, I've heard about traveling. A cheap way to travel is on cruises. If you don't drink and you don't gamble, it's a pretty cheap way to go.
Sure. I'll take the cruise.
Yeah. Or don't, and ride a bus. So again, check out these other tips that he's added in there from these other websites we're gonna look at in a second. Frugal exercise. Some tips here is, don't go to the gym, because that's expensive to go to the gym. Find some cheap weight equipment. I saw an ad the other day on Craigslist. They were looking for free or cheap weight equipment to buy. And I found some at a sale, and I almost called them up and sold it to them, but my boys decided to use it after all. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. A few other tips here will kind of play into this. Stay healthy. The healthier you are, the better you're going to be. As far as medically, you won't have to go to the doctors much, need medicines, because those are pretty expensive, as you know. So commute by bike. Would you like to see me come in the office door after commuting up here from Racine on a bike?
I don't know if you'd make it.
I wouldn't make it. But I would be sweaty and stinky, and I'd have to, and it would take me, I'd have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make it here by 8. So,
There's a guy out here that does. He comes from over in Silver Creek, because I see him over there and then I see him over here.
okay. And if you're good at it and you don't live too far away, probably not a bad thing to do. So, again, some other tips here in the blue that you can click on. So, carpool or ride a bus. I know a few people in our program that ride the bus. It comes through, or carpool. Again, if I had an opportunity to carpool, I wouldn't mind that. But not too many people from Racine come to Missouri Southern. One of our girls in the program does live right around the corner from me, so if she was wanting to stay here from 8 to 5, and not just worry about what time she's here for class, we could carpool together, I guess. So. Walk. How many of you walk anywhere? Yeah, you live across the door, okay. I know, I heard DeAndre breathing heavily when he came to class a while ago. He was huffing and puffing.
I was coming up, you know.
You mean you don't drive your car from over there? Over here? Oh, you don't do that? Ride your bike? So he's walking. So I think the key there is less than a mile away. I used to walk to school every day, and my school was probably from here to College Heights School. And we didn't run bus service that close when I was in elementary school, so that's probably about how far I had to walk every day to school. When I got into junior high, we had to ride the city bus if we wanted to, and I did not like riding the city bus, so I rode my bike, and it was about 5 miles, so much better shape back then. Of course, I was only 13. Sell your clutter. We talked about clutter a little while ago. Simple Dollars post on this, sell it on eBay. Has anybody ever sold anything on eBay? I've sold a few things on eBay, bought a lot more than I've sold, but have a garage sale. It's amazing that garage sale down in the Osho a couple weeks ago, how many people it drew. Trenton?
You know, my mom doesn't know technology that well, so she resorts to yard sales and
Selling or buying?
both.
Both.
Because she looks at yard sales more often than she holds them.
Yeah, it's easier to go buy than it is to sell, for sure. It takes a lot of work to
Takes a
sell
lot of
stuff.
work to do.
But again, I've got stuff out of my garage
Addicted to that yard sale.
that I never haven't touched in years. And I know you know what my reasoning for keeping it is? I know I'm going to need it one of these days. There's going to be some use for it. And very rarely is there. So again, it goes back to some of the other tips we had about the smaller house and stuff. So frugal gifting. Gifts could cost a lot of money over the course of a year. Look for ways to do it cheaply. My best way of doing it
Buy
cheaply.
Christmas gifts in the summer.
My Christmas gifts, my way of doing it cheaply is don't buy gifts. I'm not a gift person. I don't like receiving gifts personally, and so I hence don't like giving. My brother, he is a gift giver. He loves giving gifts. That's his way of showing his affection to somebody, to give them a gift.
I just bake.
You
Give her
do what?
bake cookies and candy.
Baking, good idea. That's my mother's gift. She likes doing that, so.
That
It
can
does
get
get
pretty
expensive.
expensive.
It does,
Yeah,
as much as I do. I do like thousands.
Yeah.
So, good idea, like Brandon said, buy your Christmas gifts in the summer when things are cheaper. Buy them right after Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Have your Christmas January the 15th.
We used to do our, we used to
Do
do
your
it.
next year's gift wrapping, shopping and stuff,
Right,
right
exactly.
after the
Yeah.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
We used to
Buy
do
your Christmas
on
decorations
New York.
a week or two after Christmas. Buy your Christmas wrapping paper a week or two after Christmas.
Day
Buy
after
your,
Christmas, go shop.
it's amazing.
I have a tub for school parties, and after I go buy it and it goes in the tub, so the next year I know, I go there, what do I have for this year's party?
Yeah.
I do that.
So just pick the times. When is the best time, this is kind of a little off subject, when's the best time to buy a car? Anybody know?
First year.
February.
It's the end of the year, because they're trying to get them out for the next year.
Yeah.
Usually August, October, in that range is a good time to go buy a car, because they're wanting to get ready for the new models coming in, because they start bringing in new models October. They'll start bringing in 2014s in October, or even sometimes earlier now. So they want to get those 2013s off the lot, so they bring in the 2014s now. So
I got my 2013 in March of 2012.
yeah, they're getting earlier and earlier. It's kind of crazy. So frugal gifting.
Can't hardly
Just
even call it a 2013 car.
quit smoking.
Oh, my mom is so bad about this.
How much money do you think you spend in a year in smoking?
I don't know.
A lot.
My mom spends equally the amount to smoke that she pays to quit, so
Oh yeah.
it's about even.
You know, I know my stepdad, when he smoked about 2 cartons a week, and that was back when they were about $12 a carton,
Now they're like 30.
and now they're more.
Oh, more than 3.
So let's say he spent $25 a week, 52 weeks, I don't know what that adds up to, I'm not good at multiplying, especially under pressure, but a lot of money. Could have fed a family of 7 a lot better if we'd had that month.
It's $1,200 a year.
Yeah, there you go, thank you. $1,200 a year, and that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, all that money up in flames.
Yep, all that money up in flames. Great way to
All
put it.
that
So,
money up in serotonin.
all of it. So, again, is this an easy one for the people who smoke? No, but a way to save money. Also, I like how it puts down here, your medical costs eventually will be possibly higher. So, this one I like, alcohol in moderation. Doesn't say quit drinking alcohol. So you probably know that Leo is a non-smoker, but he drinks a little. Because he doesn't say quit drinking it, but how much? I don't drink either. How much is it?
Alcohol ain't that high. Depending on where you go.
Depends on how much you drink.
Or depending on what you drink.
Yeah, I said that too.
Depends on how much you drink and where you, but if you were to go to a restaurant and get a glass of wine or something, I have no idea.
I wanna know why they gotta pick your Samuel L. Jackson.
That's not Samuel L. Jackson. This is my
It
picture.
is,
I
I know it is.
I found these pictures. It's fun, the fun part of putting this presentation together is finding a picture that kind of matches with the theme of the slide. I did pretty good, you have to admit.
You know, like you know, you swear to
Yeah, that's why he drinking. He just lost the case.
Sweets in moderation. Again, moderation, it doesn't say avoid sweets. Would probably be my hard one, because I probably get a candy bar a day, maybe not every day, but close to it, right, Andrea? Close to it, not every day. And sometimes the chocolate chip cookies, unless they've got the peanut butter ones in front, down at our machine at Hearns, they will have peanut butter, chocolate chip, peanut butter, chocolate chip. If I go down there and the peanut butter in front, I don't buy the chocolate chip ones.
My solution to this problem is to visit the ACTS office, the Project Stay office, the
Yeah.
Disability Services office.
All the candy baskets.
Right?
There you go.
If they don't got no chocolate in it, I ain't interested. I don't like the hard candy, gummies or anything.
I'll make sure I tell them, they wanna get rid of Matt.
The free popcorn, especially when we get some chocolate to go with it. you know?
And no free popcorn today.
I know, they close.
Cab off. That's what I do.
Wow.
Glasses, top out of cab.
Again, goes back to health. As a person who has minor diabetes, I shouldn't be eating that candy bar a day either. Anyway, so, a friend of ours the other day at church, I had a couple of little donuts at church, and she dumped me for eating donuts at church, so. Drink water, save on soda, you save on coffee, alcohol, juices, tea, it's also healthier, so. I did not look at this link, here's some tips for forming the water habit, but as I said, we do that every time we go to a restaurant, because we're saving money.